What's going on, game players? How are you guys doing? I want to welcome you guys to the second episode of the feedback section, listener feedback. That's right. This is your show, the listener out there, where you call in or you email the show and you leave your questions and we go over it right here in this podcast. So for any of you guys that are new to the show, welcome. Come on in, gather in, settle on down and relax. Kick your feet up. We're going to have a good time today. Now, if you do want to be a part of the show, like I said, you can do it two different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. The only caveat, guys, that I ask is if you want to be a part of the next upcoming listener feedback episode, please have your questions in by Friday. That's the only caveat. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. We have here our first email, and this gentleman actually wrote in several times this week, and it is appreciated. But we're going to get things started with Mr. Subset Tekken, who says, then there was X. He says, hello, Kiaun. Well, the day we were waiting for has come and gone. Some people liked it and some didn't. Others, like yourself, was disappointed. I was absolutely disappointed, Subset. He says, it's okay. We are all entitled to our opinions. I liked it myself. However, I know some of those games I'll never be interested in at all. Microsoft had to put on a show that appeals to all gamers, not just us, the more hardcore gamers. Maybe they have more games that appeal to your liking down the road. That is possible. That's possible. He continues to say, as much as I liked the PlayStation showcase, I think I'm putting my money in Xbox. I'll get a PlayStation 5 sometime in 2021 or 2022. Between Halo, State of Decay 3, Avowed, The Outer Worlds DLC, As Dusk Falls, pique my interest. Medium and Fable, these games are enough for me. But I will say this, I don't think anybody is really talking about Game Pass. Microsoft is giving us day one over 1,000 video games that are from the OG Xbox 360, current gen, and next generation, all for $15 a month. They may not be the big budget games, but they are good games. I need to know what makes a AAA game. Is it the budget or the developer? I just don't know at this point. At this point. I was looking for something else from Sega, like maybe a hint of a new Virtua Fighter game, but that's just me. I just hope everybody in this next coming generation finds their gaming desires on whatever piece of plastic, and just play games. Your boy, out of the little big town of Lucama, North Carolina. Peace out, game on. Brother, shout out to you for this first email, Mr. One Subset Tekken. Now, I'm gonna jump right into your email. Thank you again for this. But, brother, you brought up some points that I can understand. Like you said, you enjoyed the PlayStation show, but you have your money on Xbox first because they showed off games like Avowed, Medium, State of Decay, and Halo, just to name a few. And you did mention that you would get a PlayStation 5, maybe, a year, maybe 2 years later on down the line. But like you said, Game Pass was another factor from you. At least that's what I got out of the email. One Subset, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the value in Game Pass, Microsoft giving us all of these games, they're not giving them to us. We got to pay $15, but them including all of these games in Game Pass for $15 a month. That is a great value. I definitely hear where you're coming from, but brother, it's like, it's like the fact that you did acknowledge, this is the thing I like about your email. You did acknowledge that some of those Game Pass games are AA at best and don't appeal to all gamers. I mean, you made the point to say Microsoft, they had to show things for the non-hardcore gamer, and that is true. They have to show games that appeal to a wide range of gamers, but it was just, man, let me finish though, brother. Let me finish with the point, brother. I'm about to start jumping all over the place, but that was a really good point, and those titles, that's what I wanted to say. I was rambling for a second, but I got it together. You were asking, what makes a AAA title? Is it the developer or is it the budget? Brother, I would say, and I think you hit it right on the head, I would say it is both. I think it's both. Because if you have a talented developer, let's say somebody like, I don't know, Sony Santa Monica. Okay, let me not even use the Sony studio, because some people might say, come on, Kiaun, Microsoft has talent. All right, we'll go with Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory, now we have seen their pedigree of the kinds of games that they are able to make. DMC, that was a Ninja Theory game. Some people don't remember that. Enslaved, another Ninja Theory game. Heavenly Sword, a Ninja Theory game. And just to take it full circle, Hellblade, another Ninja Theory game. All of those games, amazing looking titles. And I will say, granted, Hellblade, it does not look like it, brother, but I would say that was probably a AA game, but they did wonders with it. One subset. I think it was a $10 million budget. The budget wasn't that big, but they worked with what they had, and they were able to come up with what some people would say, and I would too, but I'd be fronting if I said I finished the game, because I didn't. But what people said was, amazing looking, what they were able to do. And then you go to a game like Bleeding Edge, brother. Whoo! Bleeding Edge. From the same developer. Who knows? I think the budget might not have been there, because you can see Ninja Theory is a very talented studio. Even when the budget isn't all the way there. Once again, $10 million on Hellblade. But then you see something like I said, Bleeding Edge, you start to say, come on, brother, this is AA at best. So I think, to your point, one subset, I was kind of long-winded with the answer, but I think it's both. I think it comes down to budget and it comes down to the developer talent, because you can't make something absolutely incredibly amazing if the budget isn't there. I'm going to give you another example, one subset, as far as what I believe, and I could be wrong. This is all subject. Everybody is going to have a different opinion, and you are more than welcome to tell me how you feel about this one subset. Absolutely, right back in and let me know, brother. But I was going to say that The Last of Us Part 2, that development team, I had read it was over 2,000 people that were working on that game. So you have Naughty Dog with the amazing pedigree of talent that studio has. Then you have however many people that were contracted to work on the project, which means that you have to have a bigger budget. It increases the budget. So, I do believe that it comes with the talent and it comes with the budget. 2,000 people working on one project for 7 years, between 5 to 7 years. That's a ton of money being spent. And I would say a game, I wrote down some other stuff I was going to say, one subset tech, and I didn't follow what I wrote down, brother. Went off on my own tangent. But let me see, what else did I have here, because I did make notes on your email here, brother. I was talking about people wouldn't compare God of War to Ori and the Will of the Wisp, even though the Will of the Wisp is a beautiful looking game. But like you said, though, it is good that Microsoft is going to have 1,000 games ready to go on day one, spanning all the way back to the OG Xbox. That is an absolutely fantastic thing that Microsoft is doing. And even to your point, again, one subset Tekken, like you said, brother, you just want everybody to enjoy this upcoming generation on whatever box they play on or they prefer, whether it be PlayStation 5, whether it be Series X, whether it be the Switch or the new Switch that's coming out, or even the PC. It is a fantastic time to be a gamer. And for me, I will say, brother, that Xbox show, it just didn't do it for me, brother. But you alluded to it earlier, so it's no need to bring it back up. But one subset Tekken, I truly appreciated this email. Thank you so much, brother. And I believe I have one more here from you, but I'll read it in a little bit though, brother. But thanks again for this one. But let's go ahead and let's get with Mr. Free Fly Ferret. He wrote in. Let me pull up this good brother's email. Mr. Free Fly, where are you at, brother? Got the emails loading up right now. Here we go. Mr. Free Fly Ferret, fly, brother, fly. Now, the title of his email is Dollars and Cents. He says, my brother, that's Free Fly Ferret fashion right there, brother. He starts it like that every single time. Shout out to you, man. He says, thinking back to the launch of the 360, I can't recall the best of launch lineups. Hell, I played Hexic HD and fell in love with achievements those first few weeks before picking up Cameo. Is this launch really that bad? The more interesting thing to me will be the prices. I really think that Microsoft has an upper hand here with Game Pass. Everybody talking about Game Pass, brother. With Game Pass, it's like being able to sell a car for cheap because you're gaining it back on interest through monthly payments. Time will tell. Hope all is well with you and your family. I appreciate that, Free Fly Ferret. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for this email, man. I would say, the interesting thing about this is I don't think we really know for sure what the launch lineup will be, Free Fly Ferret. I mean, I guess the medium is a launch title, Dirt 5. I believe that is 120 frames per second they're talking about. Bright Memory, Bright Memory Infinite is possibly another one, but they didn't say for sure. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be there. Chorus, maybe Call of the Sea, I guess, on the Xbox Series X. I mean, that's not a bad list. You know, if you're talking about, I mean, of course, some of these are going to be on the PlayStation 5. I mean, Dirt 5 is going to be there. Valhalla is going to be there. But even with the PlayStation 5's launch lineup, we don't know for sure. The only game that I think we're 100% sure on is Spider-Man Miles Morales, NBA 2K21, which is also coming to the Series X. We got Godfall. I believe that's another one. Bug Snacks, I don't know if that, oh man, that's rough. But, Bug Snacks, I don't even know if that's a launch title. I think it is. I think it might be. But, I mean, and even maybe Horizon Forbidden West and Ratchet and Clank could be in the launch window. So that's not a really bad launch either. I've never really thought about this, Free Fly Ferret, to be honest with you, until you brought this to my attention. So, I mean, it might not be a bad launch, brother. Overall, to me, though, I got to tell you, Free Fly Ferret, for me personally, the best launch lineup for any console, in my opinion, it had to be the daggone Dreamcast, brother. I had never seen so many AAAs out at one time, brother. We had Ready to Rumble, Blue Stinger was there, the new Sonic Adventure was there. We had Virtual Fighter was there. We had, well, not we, but everybody had, it was so many. House of the Dead Part 2 with the light gun. They just had, I think, NFL 2K had happened during that launch period. I'm all tongue tied here, brother. Pardon me. When I get excited, this is what happens, man. But that launch lineup was insane. I think Power Stone was there. That is the greatest launch lineup of all time to me. I don't know. Somebody challenge me and tell me, is there a better launch lineup in console history than the Dreamcast? Because they were shooting on all cylinders. I think Hydro Thunder was there as well, but I'm going off on a tangent, Free Fly. The other point that you had brought up, though, because I'm trying to bring it back here, brother, was Game Pass. And Game Pass is a great value, but will it impact console sales in a positive way? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. A lot of people, and including myself, I was feeling the same way, Free Fly Ferret, that, hey, if they do this Game Pass, this is going to be amazing. This is going to change things. This is going to level the playing field. I don't know if that's the case, brother. I mean, they're going to have some day and date games in there right now in the foreseeable future, at least for right now, coming down the pipe sooner than later. We know that Halo Infinite is going to be in there. But the thing about Halo Infinite is that showing, that latest showing, just a couple of weeks ago, that might have been a week ago, maybe two at this time. I don't know. Time is getting away from me. But that did not do the Series X any favors. When we saw the graphical fidelity of that, I'm going to just speak for me personally. I said, what the heck is going on? $500 million allegedly was spent on this game, and this is what you give us? Good gosh. That was not the answer. So I understand they're going to have some third parties in there, Free Fly Ferret, to possibly help the numbers a little bit more, maybe, getting another, I don't know, whatever third party game might come up. I can't think of anything because I'm thinking on the fly right now, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if that's going to be the answer, because at the end of the day, it's always about how good are your games? How good are they? Will you be able to, because of Game Pass, be able to bring those people that are on the PlayStation side into your ecosystem? Because right now, I have to say that anyone that was on the opposite side, that was not in the Xbox camp at this moment, Free Fly Ferret, I don't think Microsoft did enough to convince that PlayStation guy that I have to get a Series X day one, or possibly even ever, because they just didn't have the content there that spoke to a lot of gamers. And even to one subset, Tekken's point, I definitely understand, brother. They have to have a big array of games that it does speak to more than us, the core gamer. But I just don't know if Game Pass is going to be able to do it. I will say, though, however, Free Fly Ferret, I will say this, brother, when you talk about, because you were talking about price, I will say if the console is cheaper, if Microsoft can bring in the Series X cheaper than the PlayStation 5, and I think they have to be aggressive, especially now. Right now, more than ever. If we thought they needed to be aggressive with the price point before, they darn sure have to be with it now, because right now, everybody, well, not everybody, us the hardcore that are in the know, most casuals, they don't really care about this, and I get it, and that could possibly have them not even be affected and say, hey, Game Pass is a great service, and they might jump into it. But once again, I just don't know, man, because it comes down to the games. But to my point, the point that I was trying to make, Free Fly, was if they can come in $100, and I think that it has to be that. I think it has to be $100 cheaper than the PlayStation 5, because I don't think $50 is going to do it. I truly don't. I think that they're going to have to become very, very aggressive with that price point. And I understand that that's where the so-called, good grief, what is it? Golly, Lockhart, where that comes into play. possibly, I mean, it's rumors about it. If they can market that as a next generation console, which I guess technically it will be for sure, and they can get the casual on that, and if they can price that at $300, oh man, now we're having a heck of a different conversation, because most people, most casuals, they don't jump out the window like us, the hardcore, in the first year and get these consoles at full price. We're usually the guys that do that. So if the casual can see this Lockhart on the market, or the Xbox One S or whatever they're gonna, think they already have an S model, god dog, but another Xbox model for this upcoming generation, and it's at the right price point, that could be something to make somebody say, between that and Game Pass, I might have to go ahead and jump over and see what's going on. But I don't think that if they are priced both at the same price point, I think it is going to be a terrible, horrible generation for Xbox. I do. I think that if they got beat this bad, this generation like this, next generation is going to be much, much worse. Because this generation, they barely gave us anything that was amazing. Microsoft, this whole generation, has not had that game that had everybody truly saying, wow, what an experience. This is the game of the year for Microsoft. They have not had a contender for that outside of Forza, I don't think, this whole generation. So it is no way they can go into this next generation with these half-cocked AA experiences. It's not going to fly. I think they need to be very aggressive with the price point, and they need to just make fantastic games that make people take them seriously, because at this point, Microsoft, they are on very shaky ground, and they don't seem to even care, because Cuphead, that just got released on the PlayStation 4. God darn it, Microsoft. My whole point is they just need to get it together. We'll see what happens. The price is very, very key. And the launch lineup, since I went through them with you, yeah, you got a really good point. They aren't that bad overall. But Free Fly Ferret, I truly appreciated this email, brother. Thank you so much. And please continue to write in. It's always great to hear from you, my brother. But we have another one, like I talked about earlier, from Mr. One Subset Tekken. Let me pull yours up, brother. You gave me two of them this week. Let's see. What do we have? We have, oh man, Subset, I can't read this, brother. This came in today, brother. I can't break my old rules right now, brother. Oh, shucks. I thought this was earlier in the week. Like I said, you gotta, get it in by at least Friday, brother. Friday, I can't break the rule. I saw it just came in today. But One Subset, I promise you, brother, I will definitely get to that next week for sure. Don't write in, brother. We're going to concentrate on this one. That way we can, catch up and everything will be fine, brother. But One Subset, thank you again, brother. Good grief. I'm sorry, though. I do apologize for that. But we'll get into the final voicemail, which actually comes from Vaughn, and he was actually on the spoiler cast for The Last of Us Part 2. So, Vaughn, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, my brother.
Microsoft. What in the heck? Microsoft just told everybody with this game show to be ready for the next generation, but they showed us that they're not ready for the next generation. I mean, I'm not going to spend $500 or $600 on another box again that's just going to sit and collect dust. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not getting the Series X since they got 15 studios that they're bragging about, and they just showed the show. They had 2 back-to-back shows and didn't really give us anything. What I'm going to do, since I was going to buy a Series Xbox day one, Microsoft Xbox, I'm waiting until you have 15 games that's worth playing on the Series X before I get that box. That's what's going to happen. So, Kiaun, I feel you. on everything you said on the after show. I was thinking the same exact thing. You got 15 studios. You didn't even show every studio having a game, which is what I would have done. I would have had every studio have a demo reel or something ready for the show to combat what PlayStation did in their last show. And I'm not saying the PlayStation show was, a 10 out of 10 show, but at least they gave you a glimpse in, okay, they got some good things coming down the pipe. Now, one of the things that kind of made me upset about Phil is a great talker. He seems like a good dude, but he's all talk. And I remember an interview where he was mocking people saying, yeah, we got Gears Halo 4s and Gears Halo 4s. I know that's the image that we project. And then what do? They show Halo and Forza. And I know everybody was expecting Halo and Forza, but to turn around and do that, the only reason why they didn't show Gears is they probably just didn't have a video ready for it, but they probably would have did that too. So, and then Forza, speaking of that, is not even going to be ready for years. So why even show it? Matt Booty saying they're saving some of the studios. Why? This is a gunfight. Why would you bring knives to a gunfight and not bring your big guns to the show? All right, I can keep going on and on about some of these shows after the event was over, some of these podcasts talking about it was a solid show. It wasn't. You can tell who the shields are, people who are just trying to keep Phil coming back on their shows and doing interviews, so they don't want to make Microsoft mad, but I digress. I'm not going to go on and on about that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rant. My question for you, Kiaun, with 15 studios with Xbox, do you think this means that Game Pass is going to be bloated? Are we going to get a bloated Game Pass? That's my question for you. That's it. All right. Great over. It's your boy Vaughn. I'm out. Peace.
Shout out to you, Vaughn. Hey, brother, once again, man, thanks for doing the spoiler cast with me. Man, you had a lot of great insight into The Last of Us Part 2. It was quite a few things you brought up that I didn't even know even existed, like that different ending with, what was it? Anyway, whoa, I'm about to spoil some stuff. Darn. All right, yeah, but check that out if you guys definitely want to. If you've beaten The Last of Us Part 2, we had a great conversation. But Vaughn, hey, brother, I'm with you, man. Vaughn said, Microsoft, listen, if you got 15 studios, since you do have 15 studios, then I was going to get your box on day one. I'm not getting your box until you give me 15 IPs from those studios. Brother, you are not wrong for that, Vaughn. And I'll tell you this, I thought, and I understand that, us as fans, we don't know what these development teams are going through. We don't know how early in development or, what kind of concepts they're pitching around to each other, in the boardroom or in the studio itself. But I truly thought that a lot of the studios were going to be further along than what they are right now. It seems like, good grief, we don't know what Compulsion is working on. We have no idea. I understand they just finished up Gears 5 last year, but who knows what the Coalition is working on? We don't know. We don't know what the Initiative is working on. Who the world knows? So, to your point, Vaughn, I understand. Now, this is the thing that I kind of wrestled with myself with, Vaughn, to be honest with you. When they were showing games like State of Decay 3 off early, or they showed off, I can't think of the other games they showed, but some various games, Avowed, that they had showed off. People, and I was in that camp, Vaughn, even Hellblade 2, where I said, good grief, okay, y'all want to show these games off early, but you don't have any gameplay. What's going on? Why would you do that? But then, Vaughn, I had to take a step back, my good brother. I had to take a step back, man. And I had to say, okay, for years, we have been asking Microsoft to show us games that are in production. Sony has been doing this for years. It's gotten us hype. Their games might not come 5 years down the pipe. We want the same thing for Microsoft. And I'll give them credit. Fable, when that was shown, I was happy to see it, brother. And I know that was supposed to have been that moment, Vaughn, in the show where I was supposed to cheer. Oh my gosh, it's real. It fell a little flat because us, the hardcore, we knew this game existed like maybe almost 2 years ago, at least a year ago. We knew that this game was being worked on. I think that the more whoa moment for me would have been if they showed gameplay. If they had showed actual gameplay, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of a clip that the game was being played and letting us see what the Series X can really do, what it's capable of, I think I would have walked away like, yeah, that was good. So I don't want to give Microsoft too much flack for that because, like I said, Vaughn, at the end of that show, I was highly upset, let down, felt like Microsoft had just basically just threw in the towel at the end of that show. Yes, they showed some new IPs. They showed some games making a resurgence, Fable, that being the one, and other things that were shown, but they just didn't show me why I needed the Series X. When Halo, and I truly think, brother, when Halo came out there looking flabby and sick, brother, I think that's when the show, it just went down. I mean, I think that's for everybody. I think after seeing the showing of Halo, I think that truly just took all of the air out of the room. I think if Halo had came in and, man, just blew everybody's minds away like, God, dog, 343 has been at work. And they've been working hard and heavy. I think that the rest of the conference, it might. Nah, it was some real rough spots in there, but I ain't gonna say I would have saved it, but I think that it would have helped with people's perception of the show overall. But when you show me your flagship title, that's the problem here, Vaughn. It's the flagship title. Halo, Master Chief, the icon that made your box become relevant. When you put that kind of step forward, that first step forward, going into the next generation with your flagship title, and it comes out looking like this, that says to me you must be tone deaf to what your fan base wants when you have your biggest IP come out, have pop in the background, graphics looking like regular gen, anytime Domino's, goddamn Domino's, and I brought this up before, is clowning you about the show, clowning you about Halo, talking about we always deliver, don't worry about it. That's just a bad look. And you did this with your flagship title. So if you're not taking your flagship title serious, then how am I supposed to take you serious and believe that you're going to do anything different than what you did in this generation that's about to wrap up? So I'm with you, Vaughn. And you asked the question, do you think that Game Pass is going to be bloated with these 15 different studios? Is Game Pass going to be bloated? I'm going to say, yeah, brother. I do. I really believe that as well, because I don't think that every studio is going to be working on a AAA game. I just don't see it. It's going to be a lot of AA fodder in there. They're going to get a few AAAs in there here and there. But that once again, that goes back to budget and talent. Microsoft, they gotta. This is a scary thought. Now, I gotta shout out my dude Z over there on Broadband Bullies. That brother has said this for quite some time. He said Microsoft is in a very, 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 I don't want to misquote the brother, but basically he was saying they're in an interesting position where they're making the amount of money that they're making, and they're putting in half, I don't want to curse, but half efforts into the games and the not the production, but the games and software that they're bringing out. They're still able to make money. Let's just say if Sony made 130 million, these are just just example numbers, not real numbers. But if Sony made 130 million and Microsoft made like 85 million with the effort that they're doing, what is the incentive here? You have Sony throwing everything at the doggone wall, just everything. I mean, their best foot forward every single time. And then you have Microsoft doing half efforts into what they're putting out there, and they're still able to maybe not quite keep the same pace as Sony. They're getting killed when it comes to console sales, but the revenue isn't that far behind. That is a very tough, that's a place you don't want any company that you really want to see compete be in, because they know that, hey, we can sit back and we don't have to do nowhere near the work that Sony is doing to get maybe not the same amount of money, but a semi-close amount to what they're making. So yeah, I just don't know how this Game Pass thing is going to work out. I've said it before and I say it again. I think that Game Pass is a reason that Microsoft can say that they don't have to put that full effort into making an amazing game, because they can just say, hey, it's in Game Pass. It's only $15. And that's not what anybody wants. If you want Microsoft to change, you have to speak up. You have to be vocal. You have to let them know this is not cool. This is not what we want. We want you to do better. And we can say it in a respectful way. I'm never one to be disrespectful. I do say Phil is more, spottier than a Dalmatian, but that's me talking about him as the head of Xbox. Like Vaughn said, seems like a really nice guy, but there's no way I'm going to attack that man and make all kinds of threats. That's not what it's about. It's just about letting the companies know, letting these guys know, or any company that you think isn't doing a good enough job, that we just want you to do better. That's what it comes down to. We want you to fight. We don't want you to go away, get trampled, because the last thing gaming needs is one company that's basically running it. It's horrible for us. That's the last thing anybody should want, is for Microsoft to go away. Well, Xbox to go away and Nintendo to go away and just have Sony be the only one out here. Man, that is not at all what we need at all. But, Vaughn, I tell you, brother, I truly appreciated this email. It's just going to be an interesting time, in this upcoming generation to see what happens. I'll be interested. I'll be sitting and waiting and hoping that Microsoft pulls it together, because I know that I've been hard on Microsoft. I know I have, but it's only because you guys don't understand, man. I freaking love the Xbox brand. I love it, man. But this BS that they got going on right now, I can't stand by and be like, oh man, Grounded is game of the year, god doggone material. Come on, man. That's not what I'm doing, brother. And I would hope that any real fan of the brand would take the same stance. But, man, once again, Vaughn, thank you so much for the email, brother. The voicemail. I do this every single time. Please continue to, call in, brother. I think you were on your 21st voicemail, man. God dog, shout out to you, man. Good grief. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it though. But if you guys, once again, shout out to One Subset Tekken, shout out to Free Fly Ferret, and One Subset, feel free, brother, to write in again, man. You can write in as much as you want, brother. It's just great to hear from you guys. But shout out to, like I said, Free Fly Ferret, and shout out to you, Vaughn, for writing in this week and calling in. It's just great to hear from you, brothers. It really is, man. And if any of you guys listening right now want to be a part of the show, you can feel free to do it two different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Just make sure you have it in by Friday. But I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and once again, thank you guys so much for being here, and until next week, you guys take care. Bye-bye.